Welcome to Cozy English Stories. Let's settle in for a story about conversations we often avoid, but truly need to have. This story is at a B1 English level, perfect for practicing your listening and comprehension skills. Once upon a time, in a small, quiet town named Meadowbrook, lived a young man named Leo. Leo was known for his friendly smile and his willingness to help anyone. He worked at the local library, a place filled with the gentle rustle of turning pages and the soft scent of old books. But despite his cheerful exterior, Leo carried a heavy weight inside him. He avoided difficult conversations like a cat avoids water. His best friend was a woman named Clara. Clara was the opposite of Leo. She was a journalist for the town's small newspaper, always asking questions, always seeking the truth. She believed that honesty, even when it was uncomfortable, was the foundation of any strong relationship. One sunny afternoon, Leo was reshelving books when Clara walked in, a determined look on her face. "Leo," she said, her voice soft but firm. "We need to talk." Leo's heart skipped a beat. Those 4 words were his least favorite in the entire English language. "Oh, about what?" he asked, trying to sound casual as he nervously straightened a row of books that were already perfectly aligned. "About your brother, Sam," Clara said, her eyes full of concern. Leo froze. Sam was a sensitive topic. He was Leo's older brother, and they hadn't spoken in over a year. The silence between them had started with a small disagreement over money and had grown into a huge, unspoken wall. Leo missed his brother terribly, but the thought of calling him and facing the awkwardness and potential anger was paralyzing. "There's nothing to talk about," Leo mumbled, turning his back to her and pretending to be busy with another shelf. Clara sighed and walked closer. "Leo, that's not true. You're unhappy." "I see it every day." "You walk around with this cloud over your head. Avoiding this conversation isn't protecting you. It's hurting you. It's just complicated," Leo said, his voice barely a whisper. "What if he's still angry? What if he hangs up on me? What if I say the wrong thing and make it even worse? And what if you don't?" Clara countered gently. "What if he misses you just as much as you miss him? What if he's also just waiting for the phone to ring? These what ifs can go both ways, Leo, but you'll never know the answer if you don't try." Clara's words echoed in Leo's mind all day. He thought about all the holidays and birthdays that had passed in silence. He remembered their childhood, filled with shared secrets and laughter. The pain of missing his brother was becoming greater than the fear of the conversation. That evening, Leo sat in his small apartment, staring at his phone. His thumb hovered over Sam's contact name. He took a deep breath, remembering Clara's advice. He wasn't just doing this for himself. He was doing it for the relationship they once had. He finally pressed the call button. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Leo's heart pounded in his chest. He was about to hang up when a familiar voice answered. "Hello?" It was Sam. His voice sounded tired, but it was him. "Sam, it's Leo," he said, his own voice trembling slightly. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. For a moment, Leo thought Sam would hang up, but then Sam spoke. "Leo, wow, I wasn't expecting your call." "I know," Leo said, a lump forming in his throat. "I'm sorry it's been so long. I miss you." He heard Sam take a shaky breath. "I miss you too, man. I miss you a lot." And just like that, the wall began to crumble. They didn't solve everything in that one phone call. The conversation was awkward at times. They tiptoed around the original argument, but they talked. They talked about their jobs, about their parents, about a funny movie Sam had seen. It was a start. The next day, Leo felt lighter than he had in years. He saw Clara at the town cafe and gave her a huge hug. "You called in, didn't you?" she asked, a wide smile spreading across her face. Leo nodded, his eyes shining. "I did. It was scary, but you were right. It was necessary. It wasn't perfect, but we're talking again. Thank you, Clara." Clara squeezed his hand. "Sometimes the hardest things are the most important." This experience changed Leo. He started to understand that avoiding problems didn't make them disappear. It just gave them more power. He began to practice having small, difficult conversations in other areas of his life. A few weeks later, his boss at the library, Mrs. Gable, announced a new project that involved reorganizing the entire history section. It was a huge task, and she assigned it all to Leo, on top of his regular duties. Old Leo would have just said yes, and then suffered in silence, working late nights, feeling overwhelmed and resentful. But this was the new Leo. He waited until after the library closed and approached Mrs. Gable's desk. "Mrs. Gable," he began, his voice calm and steady. "I'm excited about the history section project. However, I've looked at the timeline and my current responsibilities, and I am concerned I won't be able to complete it to a high standard by myself within that time frame." Mrs. Gable looked up, surprised. She was used to Leo agreeing to everything without question. Leo continued, "I was wondering if we could either extend the deadline or if perhaps another staff member could assist me with the project. I believe with some help, we can do an even better job." Mrs. Gable considered his words for a moment. She looked at her calendar and then back at Leo. "You know what, Leo, you're right. That's a very reasonable request. I was so focused on getting it done, I didn't think about the workload. Let me ask Sarah if she can help you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention." Leo walked home that evening with a sense of pride. He had spoken up for himself, respectfully and clearly. The conversation wasn't confrontational. It was collaborative. It was another conversation he had avoided in the past, but one that was necessary for his own well-being. The story of Leo and his newfound courage to speak his truth spread subtly through Meadowbrook, not through gossip, but through his actions. He was still the same friendly Leo, but now there was a quiet confidence about him. He learned that necessary conversations weren't about winning an argument or proving a point. They were about connection, understanding, and respect for others and for himself. He and Sam started talking regularly. They eventually had the difficult conversation about the money, apologizing to each other and finally letting go of the anger. Their bond became even stronger than before. Leo realized that life is full of these necessary conversations. They might be with family, friends, or colleagues. They might be about a misunderstanding, a boundary, or a feeling that needs to be shared. They are the conversations that feel scary to start, but they hold the key to deeper relationships and a more honest, peaceful life. And by facing them, one by one, Leo transformed his world from one of avoidance and anxiety to one of connection and courage. Thank you for listening to this cozy English story. We hope it inspires you to have the conversations you need to have. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe for more stories to help you practice your English. See you next time.